American dominance inside NATO may be starting to crack. European allies are suddenly rejecting major US defense systems. Boeing is losing influence inside the alliance, and Canada is now openly questioning the future of the F-35 program. Even more surprising, South Korea's military industry is rapidly expanding across Europe as countries search for alternatives to American-controlled weapons, software, and battlefield infrastructure. Behind the scenes, fears surrounding political leverage, software restrictions, and long-term dependence on Washington are beginning to reshape NATO faster than many analysts expected. Welcome back to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Today, we are diving into the explosive defense realignment now shaking the future of NATO itself. NATO breaks away, America starts losing control. For years, Washington assumed NATO allies would remain permanently dependent on American military equipment, software, and battlefield infrastructure. According to SIPRI, nearly 64% of European NATO arms imports between 2020 and 2024 came from the United States. Ironically, Trump's push for higher NATO defense spending may have accelerated Europe's diversification instead. Governments increasingly want faster deliveries, lower costs, local manufacturing, and greater strategic autonomy from American-controlled systems during future political disputes. South Korea has emerged as one of the biggest winners of this transformation. European imports of Korean defense equipment surged roughly 130% over the past 5 years. Poland finalized deals involving K-2 Black Panther tanks, K-9 howitzers, and F-50 fighters, while Spain, Romania, Estonia, Finland, and even France expanded interest in Korean systems. The reason is simple. Korean weapons are cheaper, delivered faster, and remain fully compatible with NATO operational standards. But Europe's growing defense realignment did not stop with tanks and artillery. The shift soon expanded into one of NATO's most sensitive military programs, airborne surveillance and battlefield intelligence. NATO rejects Boeing, F-35 fears explode. One of the biggest symbolic blows to America's defense dominance came from NATO's surveillance aircraft decision. For decades, NATO relied on Boeing's legendary E-3 Sentry AWACS fleet for airborne early warning operations. Washington expected the alliance to naturally transition toward Boeing's newer E-7 Wedgetail platform, which combines advanced electronically scanned radar technology with the proven Boeing 737 airframe. But rising costs, program delays, and worsening political tensions between Europe and the United States changed the conversation dramatically. Instead of choosing another American-controlled platform, NATO selected Saab's Swedish-built GlobalEye system. Analysts now view the decision as a major strategic turning point. The issue goes far beyond radar capability. European governments increasingly fear depending on US-controlled software, logistics, and political approvals after Washington previously threatened restrictions involving F-35 software access during disputes with Turkey. Europe now wants greater defense independence from American-controlled military infrastructure. And those fears surrounding software control are now spreading far beyond Europe itself. One of America's closest allies is suddenly questioning the future of its entire F-35 program. Canada questions F-35, NATO tensions rise. Nowhere is NATO's growing tension more visible than in Canada's increasingly controversial F-35 debate. In 2023, Ottawa agreed to purchase 88 Lockheed Martin F-35 fighters to replace its aging CF-18 fleet, but projected costs later surged beyond 27 billion Canadian dollars. After Trump returned to office and imposed new tariffs affecting Canadian industries, Canada began reviewing the remaining purchases. Saab quickly positioned the Gripen E as a sovereignty-focused alternative, offering local assembly, domestic maintenance, and independent software control inside Canada. That issue is becoming critical because the F-35 relies heavily on US-controlled logistics, software updates, and operational infrastructure. Concerns intensified after reports showed Swedish Gripens successfully exchanged targeting data with NATO F-35s through Link 16 networks. Suddenly, Canada's fighter debate became far bigger than aircraft procurement. It evolved into a growing battle over sovereignty, strategic autonomy, and military data control. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this deep dive, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Piston Pundit so you do not miss our upcoming defense industry breakdowns and future vehicle updates. This helps us reach more enthusiasts just like you. But while Canada debates whether the F-35 creates too much dependence on Washington, another fighter program is quietly emerging as a possible long-term threat to America's dominance. South Korea's KF-21, the F-35 Challenger, emerges. While Europe debates the Gripen and Canada questions the F-35, another aircraft is quietly entering the spotlight: South Korea's KF-21 Boramae. Developed by Korea Aerospace Industries, the KF-21 combines stealth-inspired shaping, advanced sensors, multi-role combat capability, and lower operating costs than America's expensive fifth-generation fighter. Analysts increasingly view it as one of the most serious non-American alternatives emerging in the global defense market. The KF-21 was specifically designed to operate alongside aircraft like the F-35, while avoiding many of the enormous maintenance and operational costs tied to American stealth fighters. South Korea also offers flexibility involving technology transfers, domestic manufacturing, and rapid production scaling for allied countries. Some analysts now believe future NATO operators could use mixed fleets, involving limited F-35s alongside KF-21s for routine patrols and lower-cost missions, dramatically reducing long-term dependence on American-controlled systems. And if more NATO countries follow this path, the alliance's military balance could look completely different by the early 2030s. Verdict: NATO's defense revolution may already be unstoppable. What we are witnessing may become one of the biggest defense realignments in NATO's modern history. Rising costs, software dependency fears, political tensions, and growing demands for national sovereignty are pushing allies toward alternatives faster than many analysts expected. South Korea's military rise, Saab's growing influence, Europe's push for strategic autonomy, and Canada's F-35 hesitation all point toward the same reality. NATO members increasingly want advanced military capability without complete dependence on Washington. If the KF-21 proves successful and Europe continues reducing reliance on American-controlled systems, the global fighter market could look completely different by the early 2030s. Do you think Canada should continue buying the F-35 or switch toward alternatives like the Gripen E or KF-21? Could South Korea eventually become one of NATO's biggest defense suppliers? And is NATO becoming stronger through diversification or weaker by reducing dependence on American systems? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next vehicle updates and future defense industry breakdowns here on Piston Pundit. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.